Hello and welcome. My name's Mike.
And my name is Carl. This is episode 2 of It's a Corepunk podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Loonbase, but more about that later. So, Mike, what are we doing today?
Well, today we're going to go into not as deep a dive as I initially thought, because as you know, we started this podcast and it went on for some time. So we're going to do an express route
version.
Tour. Yeah, so
direct, changes. We're going there straight away.
Straight there, start to finish. It's one heck of a ride. And it starts all thanks to one of the guys on the forums, Illumio. He's done basically a big post dump of like everything that we know so far in the game, and kind of they've all been sourced, so it's all factual. There's a lot in there.
And when we say big, we mean big. There's a lot in there, and we started to go through it, and we were going to go through every single point, and this podcast went on for a long time. I aged 2 years.
Yep, we are drastically in the
32.
future. Corepunk's been out for 2 years already at this stage.
Yeah, we're really late.
Is this even relevant anymore? No, so Illumio's put some good bits. He's broke it down. I'll bring it up onto the screen now for the view at home. So
it is a great post. So if we're going to go through it, like we're going to pick out the best bits that we want to talk about and the things that we're excited about. But go over to the post, have a look at it yourselves, have a good read. If you feel like you're hungry for content, there is a lot of content here to read. And the work that he's put into it is unbelievable. So,
it's absolutely brilliant. So all credit to him. Yeah, big props. So should we just dive in? Let's go. So it's all broke down into different sections. We're going to start off with a player building. I think the biggest one a lot of people will be asking is, what is the level cap? And that is currently capped at 40. But even after you reach the level cap, you will be gaining experience to upgrade your weapon mastery.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean sort of level 40 is end of game, because we've seen before, the end game content is 60% of what the game is. So you're getting up to level 40 is only 40%. And then after level 40, you've got 60% left of content to play. And obviously, you'll still have your grinding stuff to do after that. We all know if we want to make a game last, especially like an open world MMO sort of game, we can make them last as long as we want. But yeah, of content and I guess of missions and quests and stuff to do, there'll be 60% left once you hit 40.
Yeah. And so the quote there, upon reaching maximum level, players will be presented with most of the content. As earlier we said, 40 is the content, is pumping, leveling, and 60% of the content will be available after reaching maximum level. So that's exciting.
That's well exciting.
Yeah.
How long will it take to get to level 40?
Well,
do we know?
I believe it does also say that. Here we go. It'll take around 80 to 100 hours.
That's crazy.
Up to for level 40 for your first character.
That is absolutely nuts.
40.
And in the best way, this game is slated to come out, December time, if they said they're still hoping for it to come out. No better time in my mind for a game like this to come out is when it's winter, it'll be raining, I don't need to make an excuse about not going out. I can sit there and I can put in some real time.
Oh, it's going to be good, man.
And if that's 80 to 100 hours to get to 40, what's the 60%?
Unlimited. You know what I mean? But like what it states here further down, what it does talk about, so each specialization will actually take longer. Getting to 40 initially is at 80 to 100. To do the other bits is longer, plus all the content. So there is a lot to this game. So the bank and the auction house are unified. So what that means is the auction house down here in the map and the auction house and bank up here, you don't have to travel to that one to basically get the gear from that bank. Unified across the world. And
so you can walk into Gringotts and you can get whatever you want.
Yep. And then you go to insert bank name here. Don't want to get told off for saying a thing. But
I was trying to think of any other bank in some sort of fantasy
world. It turns out there's not many. But yeah, so, and also there's going to be no cross character. So what you get on character number 1, you can't log on to character number 2 and have access to their
Right.
wares,
And I
basically.
think you can on WoW, can't you? You can do that on
There
like you
are
can
there
have a
are
weapon and put
like universal storages and stuff. Yeah, Guild
yeah.
Wars has it as well. So there's benefits to having it and not having it. Not having it means you can trade it. That'll be another way of doing it if you are able to. But yeah, it's a choice, and there's benefits and negatives to that because
Yeah.
you'll be able to switch between your weapon specializations. So we know, and it further says here, pick one specialization weapon for your race character, and you
Right.
are
So does that mean, sorry, that I'm gonna? Is it the Legionnaire? Did you say that has
yeah.
the
So if we use the
spear
legionary, so we know they've got
legion?
the three subclasses: spear and shield guy, the minigun, a shaman.
Yeah.
Shaman's the one I'm looking for so much because you can summon a wolf, Carl.
Yeah. That's sick. That's
Wolf,
sick.
a,
And
a
apparently
wolf.
you can like move pets as. Would that be classed as a pet then? The summoned wolf, or will pets be different?
Yeah. So I guess in a kind of way it is. It's like a spirit you've summoned. I think in this respect, it's more of a combat
Ah, right. You're in a
element.
battle. One of my spells. I'm gonna chuck a wolf at your head.
Yeah,
Just
summon
like that.
wolf. Wolf's gonna bite your face off. Deal with it.
Right. Cool.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
I think there are going to be cosmetic pets as well, so you could have like a little insert fancy creature here or a mech
Yeah, because I think it'll
robot
say it
chicken.
further down in one of these lists, but I'm sure that you can move the wolves by themselves. They don't
Yeah,
have to always attack, and
independent.
you can
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just say go this way. So you could use them as sort of scouts in the fog of war. So you could be going left, like there's a branching path. You could send your wolf one way. You could you could uncover that map together,
yeah.
and then see if you've gone the right way,
And
which
and
is a
and
cool
that has
cool little mechanic
multiple things. If you are solo
benefit.
leveling, for example, maybe that will help you do stuff other classes that are solo that don't have access to that. So
Mm,
that's potentially something quite cool and unique for classes like that. I know they have taught. I will touch on briefly. They have mentioned there are going to be talking about maybe a shapeshifter class, so the actual physical form of you changes.
that
But
sounds
that's not
class.
been implemented yet. All
I
details are
think
a
the
bit slim.
recent rumor I think it's a goblin,
Yeah.
little goblin class. I think that's what they're working on at the moment.
Well,
Um,
there's still six um, characters. We don't know what they're going to be.
wow.
So there's 12, and we only know of six. That's pretty exciting because the six that are there, I'm all on them.
Yeah,
I like them all.
yeah, yeah,
So that's interesting. The one further down, which do want to touch on very briefly, you are locked into one subclass you select at character creation until you hit level 4. So if I
right,
pick Shaman, I am a Shaman until I hit level 40. Can't pick up my
right.
minigun and start blasting people as a commando,
No,
unless I make a new character, basically.
yeah,
So that's quite interesting. And here's the other thing. Again, talking about that 60% extra. Each weapon specialization tree your character has access to will take longer than the previous one due to mastery points using cumulative XP. So
that's cool.
the first one is 80 to 100. So to get all three on one character, you look at 300 hours.
Yeah,
If you
that's
see them,
quality.
you /bow
Yeah,
because
empty your pockets. Give that character everything you have.
yep, or
Yeah,
any crafted bind on pickup, bind on equip, give them all.
yeah,
Which also kind of nice links into the gear score, which is one of the queries I had. Again,
yeah. And what is gear score for anyone who doesn't know?
so it's basically you a score that is given for the how good your items and your artifacts and your weapons are essentially. So each one, depending on how rare they are or how good the stats are, will give it a score.
Yeah,
Gear score is just cumulative to all those that you've got. So all six
everything
artifacts,
you've got
your
on.
weapon, cumulative to 500, and a dungeon might be recommended 600. So you'll find it difficult. But I think they touch onto it a bit later on. They don't lock anything behind a gear score wall, which is massive.
Yeah. So it's just
Um,
sort of a recommendation. It's not saying that you can't do this, but it's beneficial if you at least have this level going into this dungeon.
Yeah, so game content won't be gated by gear score. However, like Guild may imply, oh, well, you have to be at least 700 to join us. So that's pretty cool. What other interesting things popped out to me?
Classes are not gender locked.
Yeah, so classes are not gender locked, which is good. And I think this further butts into the thing about having a dainty. Yeah, so when starting Corepunk, you'll be able to select from a list of heroes. Initially, heroes aren't assigned a class archetype, but each hero has a slight inclination towards a particular archetype. For example, we'll be able to build a tank out of a delicate female character. Yeah, not every warrior is going to look this. Brilliant.
Yeah,
happy with that. However, the classes are race locked, so you won't be getting a dwarf with a mini.
Right.
You know,
that would be quality.
It'd be, I mean, proportionately, a tiny dwarf. I mean, it'd be hilarious. Be all for it, but I like the idea that an orc. So that's.
I keep thinking I'm possibly going to be the dwarf race in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know what the classes are for it yet, but I like the look of the character, and I think it's probably because we've been playing quite a bit of Deep Rock. But
yeah, Sniper and Berserker are the two that come. So one where you've got the ammo, like ranged, and then dual wield axes.
Yeah,
a bit like a Berserker Slayer. I'm mad.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and this, like I say, we're not going to go through all this, but I would encourage you, if you are remotely interested in all the nitty gritties, if it's not in here, it's not worth knowing about. And Illumio has done a great job.
Was there anything else in this one you want to discuss?
Cultures.
The 4 cultures. Yeah.
Cultures is quite an interesting one. The Yawners type ones.
Get to bed. I think that is the dwarf race.
Well, it's the culture.
From what I remember, the culture. I think they're in the mountains, and I think they're miners.
Yeah,
because I think that's what I've seen. The Elanians or Elanians. Elanians. Sorry, I can't see it on my screen. The Elanians, I think, are desert. The Quadrari. Cheers, man. Yeah, that's better. The Quadrari are the cyberpunk ones, neon city vibe, and the Faden are the forest.
Yeah, so the each areas. And it's interesting there to highlight that you'll only be able to join them at level 40. So this isn't an early game choice. This isn't making your character and going, I will belong to the Yawners.
You'll have a bit of understanding of the world and what it means by the time you do that.
Yeah, and I would imagine during your leveling process, you'll have an element of being exposed to each of the cultures, work out how they align in the world and how you want your character to fit in.
It goes with that point below as well, that you get 2 unique skills by joining one of the cultures. So that could
heavily...
and that could definitely influence which culture you want to go with, because you might be like, right, well, I'm spec to this, and if I get these 2 unique skills from this culture, I'm going to be an absolute monster.
Yeah.
So
like one of, I mean, we have, maybe one of those gives you a speed buff, so then you can forego your speed buff stat on your artifact. Give yourself a bit more health. You know, they could be really influential, and they do touch a bit further down on how you could do half healer, half support build, half healer, half damage. They really want you to,
make your hero your own.
Yeah. So whilst you may have 3 shamans, they will all play drastically different. And this is furthered by this direct quote, which we'll touch on quickly. The QWENR, there are 4, but they're not permanent. They are replaceable with 15 abilities. So pick what are on those 4 core skills, and obviously get the extra where. But your shaman, there were 3 in a line, they'll all be drastically different.
Yeah, that's it. And you and your entire party could be just shamans, but you could all just be spec'd out completely differently.
Yeah, so you might pick the warrior talent tree, which gives you more damage, or then you could also pick the tank support tree, which gives you more health and stuff. So
Yeah.
I like that you're not shoehorned into, well, you're a mage, so you have to just do spell damage and you have to wear robes, have to do that. It's
Yeah.
like you decide what you want. So I'm really hyped for that. That's really cool. So that was the character creation. Again, there are bits we've missed out. There are a lot of good, interesting points, a lot of quotes which are good to go and look. I would encourage you to go to this post on the forums. We'll jump quickly over to economy and professions. This is a slightly smaller topic. So weaponsmith, artifactsmith, which is the constructor, got the chemist, which are going to be like your potions and stuff.
Potion
seller. Mystic, I believe, is like enhancement. So you have an artifact or a sword, you can enhance it. Gathering professions, very basic in nearly every MMO. Skinning, gathering, miner, lumberjack. So leather, herbs, ores.
I wonder if this will go into player housing, because they have confirmed we're getting player housing. So I wonder if like in sort of what Valheim, I'll be able to go and chop a load of wood to make something just for my house.
Yeah, that's.
Is that how it works in other stuff? Yeah.
Like so MMO. And there'll also be a premium. People can make money from gathering because they've gone out. I think we touch on it maybe in here. The nodes don't appear at the same time, same place every time. So if you know where that tree is, that oak tree, chop the oak tree down. It won't necessarily be there next time.
Oh, right.
So there is.
That's cool.
Yeah, which I thought was quite interesting.
It's a bit of a dynamic map, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it just means as well, like things like people can't just monotonously go around the same loop, get loads and then profit. Fishing and cooking, self-explanatory. I don't think we need to touch into more. The social professions are interesting. 2 social professions there are more in the works, so that I would imagine these will probably stay as the core, but social professions will get added on.
Sheriff and a hitman.
Yeah.
So they're both in, I guess, going for PvP characters who are maybe being a bit
potentially
naughty.
Or maybe because they have mentioned that they're going to have NPCs which do move.
Right.
So you maybe might get, and it kind of, when I see sheriff and I see hitman, I see good alignment and bad alignment.
Yeah.
So there's a bad guy, or maybe the the bounty. Maybe that if you pick up the sheriff profession bonus, I don't know. I'm sure they'll go into it a bit more. Each profession will have its own leaderboard.
Cool.
So you could be the best fisher in the world, Carl. And no one's going to stop you.
Well, I already am.
The leaderboard will stop you. But yeah, so here you go. In our world, you'll be able to gather ore, wood, leather, various tech items.
Nice.
Various get clues to hunt down PKs, criminals. So yeah, so there we go. That confirms that for. So, this person's been killing a lot of players.
Was it us who was it me and you were talking about? It must have been, because you're my Corepunk bully. But I don't know if we talked about it in episode 1 or if we were just talking about it privately, where quests are not going to just have like a big shiny arrow.
Yeah.
Was it? We were talking about this yesterday.
It was, yeah. So basically,
because that's just making me think of that there with the clues, and then it's a little bit of a treasure hunt.
Yeah. So you basically, when you pick up a quest, and obviously, and that is, I saw them go north. So they went north, but from there, you might say in your quest, and then they I think they went left at the water tower, but there's not a little trail, golden trail, where you just skip along.
Yeah.
So that's
so it keeps you engaged, doesn't it? You can't just mindlessly follow the path, do the mission, onto the next one.
How more rewarding is that? Is if you get a clue, solve that case, you kill that guy for killing everyone else innocent. Yes.
That's
if you're a hitman, you can pick up hits from another player.
So you can hire someone to go and take out someone.
Out the guy who's trying to take you out, maybe.
That's cool. Just like competition between mates, you could be like, right, I'm gonna hire someone to go and take him out for the fun of it.
But like the storylines that could create for your server and stuff, Like,
in the
and the
community,
ecosystem. Hey, I need this guy dead. Right, well, I can do it, but it's gonna cost you, man.
yeah,
You know, like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's not a quest. That's real life interaction. So I'm all about that.
It
This
reminds me of Mafia back in school. You know, when you used to, was it Mafia, the game that we
bootleggers and
played in
stuff like
high
that.
school?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
bootleggers. Yeah,
exactly it. And if I can do that whilst I'm, imagine just fishing. What?
you
A
just
guy watching me. Hey,
just what?
what?
Huh? Huh?
That's it.
Bang!
Bam!
Out!
Ah! That's
Why did you kill that guy?
my fish now.
There you go.
So we've got. This is quite an interesting question. How big is the difference between items that are crafted and items obtained by bosses? Which playstyle would be more encouraged? And they answered, Corepunk will encourage both crafting and boss farming. By doing any of them, you can get top tier items.
Oh, great. So there'll be sort of the equivalent top tier item for either if you've crafted it or if you're getting it from the boss. That's what I'm reading it as.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss out, but you won't get that one unless you go and do it. Basically, you won't get the boss
they may
one.
be similar,
Yeah.
but they may look drastically different. It may be just a fuller skin or whatever. Mystics will be able to craft equipment, enhancement consumables. So like I say, got your sword, makes it a bit better. Mystic can craft consumable wards that any class can.
And what's a ward?
So
Do we know in this?
I don't know in this respect. Wards mean different things in different games. You know, it can be like a shield protect ward. You know, like damage resistance, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like something.
If you do know, let us know in the comment.
Yeah, do let us know. So here's what I was saying before: resource veins of a certain location will change their position when they respawn.
That's really good. I really like that. It keeps you hunting. It keeps it fresh when you're going on. You're like, right, I'm going to go mine some more. I'm going to have to go and find it.
Yeah, and you know it's in that area, but you just don't know
exactly where.
Yeah. They have said there will be a limit of professions per character. They just don't know what it is yet. Good stuff. Yeah, so the enhancements boost stats or give minor effects.
Enhancements will not have a chance of failing.
Yeah, so basically, if you buy an enhancement off someone and it's a plus 10% run speed, when you enchant it, it will give you that. It's not like, it might be between 5 and 15. So you may get really lucky. They're just going to go, it's 10. Separate levels for fishing and gathering, like RuneScape. Yes, they're all separate. So that's pretty cool. Items won't affect this movement speed. They very rarely do in MMOs, but it's nice to know that if you've got a full bag, you're just going to move as quick as.
Right.
The interesting thing that I came across is you won't be able to craft backpacks. You'll be able to get them from different ways: merchants, quests, and from loot.
Oh yeah. So is that sort of your inventory size? So you won't be able to craft a higher inventory size, but you'll be rewarded a higher inventory size from completing quests.
But you can buy. So there will be merchants
or buying it from a merchant.
Yeah, but obviously to get the money, you could literally maybe you have mined or farmed a lot of wood, you sell that for a profit just because you want to buy a new bag, but you can't make it directly.
That bit's cool. That's some basic recipes will be tradable, but the top tier recipes will always be bound to their owners.
Yeah, so I think I very briefly touched on the difference between BOP and BOE. So BOP is bind on pickup and BOE is bind on equip. So recipes are going to be BOP because as soon as you have that recipe, you can't give it to anyone else. It's yours. Which obviously can then, if you happen to get the, it does say there they'll be tradable.
Yeah, but some
but
of the
top
basic
tier
ones
won't be. Right. Yeah. So if you get a top tier one, you suddenly become a person of interest, because you can make the thing they want. You can charge them as much as you want to get it, and offer it for free. maybe a hitman will come after you because you're the guy taking all the.
Yeah, and that's something you could put in the auction house, is it? Like the item that you make or whatever.
So yeah, I guess the recipe is once you've made it, then you sell that for a profit because you're the
Yeah.
only one who can make it or a limited number.
Yeah.
So this was the other good thing to create some cool items. Determine cool how you would. You'll need to mine resources that are actually in raids and done. So you've got the open
Oh,
world
that's
stuff,
cool.
but there might be an elder tree within one of the dungeons, and you have to get that whilst you're doing
The
Fort in
dungeon.
Evil. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I like that because then if you've then made that cool item, like they were alluded
Oh,
to
Mike,
before.
I'm telling you now, I am so excited to be fucking smashing some dungeons with you.
Oh,
Let's go.
it's going to be great. So we'll get to the end of this and we'll take a little breather, I think, because we're getting
Farming
there.
is planned for post-launch.
It is.
There we go.
Now, where
I like a bit of farming in games, man. I do. I like looking after the crops,
you
having a
don't
nice
always
garden.
need 1,000,000 miles an hour, do you? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to come home. I want to put my stuff away, and I need to just go out and plough them fields.
Plough the fields, get some fish, cook the fish, eat it, supper, bed, no more jobs. Simple. Yeah. So the looter talent tree, I was saying about there was the warrior and the mage and stuff. They have confirmed that looter talent tree to increase output from gathering professions and killing mobs. So that can heavily influence. If you can only have 3 of those talent trees, having a looter one obviously takes a lot of maybe character attack and defense and all away, but
Yeah.
get better stuff. So I like that you could do those trade off. You can get fossils from mining different gems, including precious ones, precious nuggets, salts, and various substances.
Nice.
So that's quite good. You're not just going to get the ore. You might find a diamond. Might find it. It says salts there and stuff, which
Yeah, because you might be able to make a better meal that gives you a better health stat, like in Zelda or something like that.
there's a potion class, isn't there? So you could maybe you need that sulfur or whatever you get from it.
Yeah.
It feels like they've focused on not just that class being self-sufficient. You need the other classes.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Synergy.
just be an armor smith. You need to have a gatherer. And what else have we got? Loot branches. All right, so that just so it gives you 10% gold to every player. So it's worth having someone maybe when you're running a dungeon. Get more money out of it. There are no low-level resources. Resources are needed at all. This, while it's not a big thing, makes me happy because
how many games do you just start? You start mining, and then you fill up them chests full of coal or whatever, and then you never look at them again once you hit level 5.
Well, the typical thing is you go, oh, I've got bronze stuff. And you mine all the things to make bronze, copper and tin, and then you go to iron, and then all of a sudden everything before that, like you say, is just wasted. And you can sell it on to people who are also wanting it. But the fact that again, you get the top tier recipe, but you still need the copper. You still need those lower.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
It makes those 80 to 100 starting off hours worth it still, because if you'd just done that and then you've got 60% once you've hit that, and all of that means nothing now, it'd just be like,
it means that the economy will be strong as well because there'll always be a need for. So can we have a water break?
Loonbase. Loonbase is an all-in-one wellbeing platform for your workplace. Listeners of this podcast can get 1 month free by going to loonbase.com/itsacast. The founders of Loonbase also run their own podcast called Wellbeing Champions, where they're highlighting mental health advocates and wellbeing champions across various industries. So, to get your month free, head to loonbase.com/itsacast to find out more. And we're back.
Just like that.
On to the next.
So we've done our players, building, done the economies and the professions, weapons and artifacts. What did I call them in the last episode?
Trinkets.
So
our little trinkets.
So here we go. So as we know, the armor isn't the thing in this game. It's that's where you get your stats from. Uh, Things we already know. You can have up to 6 equipped. You know that they're not visible on the player. Um, so whilst it might say it's Grandad's old pocket watch,
Yeah.
it
So it's
won't
it's
then.
basically like you can keep your armor the way it looks. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what artifact you swap
yeah.
out, which I love in games. It's always nice having like your character looking
What
the
you
way
want.
you look and specced out with the best gear. You know.
Cool. Artifacts can be used by all characters and classes. So if you have a
All right. So yeah.
bind on equip, you kill that dungeon raid boss. You're not limited to it just being only the pyromancer.
Yeah,
Everyone.
which I'm really happy about because it's when we're playing Deep Rock or something, and then we all drop, and it's just like you get that skin for the character you're not playing, or you know, it's just like
Yeah,
well annoying.
yeah. So that's good. There's a utility and universal element, really good, which will make them more valuable because they'll just be able to be used. There won't be the ones that are just this one is worth nothing because who uses it? Like
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. As we already know, the weapon types are tied to specific subclasses. For example, Champion Ranger is the only class that can equip a two-handed bow. Are there going to be artifact sets? So if you get 3 of a set, is there a bonus? Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's quite
That's
cool.
cool.
So if you maybe there is Grandad's pocket watch, but there's also Grandad's slippers and Grandad's nightcap. If you wear them all together,
You get
bonus.
Grandad's, yeah,
Yeah, like it'll just maybe give you a boost to drinking milk quicker.
yeah.
Um,
Werther's, you get a Werther's original.
I'm already all about that. Let's go. Uh, yeah, so there is rarity and rare items that give higher stats. So soft cap, hard cap, and diminishing on. So yes, okay, it's a bronze longsword, but the common version will be basic, and then the legendary or the rare or it is will obviously be better, have better stats, but they will always be within a certain like range. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
The
And
number, oh,
randomly,
look, that's pretty cool.
um,
The number of stats on a dropped item will be fixed. However, each item's quality and specific stats will be randomized.
yeah,
So it'll have so many stat points to split amongst whatever
yeah,
things are for that weapon,
yeah.
which is cool.
So a rare, yeah, exactly that. So a rare bronze longsword will have a pool of 60 stat points, but how they're spread.
Divided, yeah,
So that's cool because that gives a farming element as well. Because if you know a certain boss or a certain mob drops some, and you know kind of roughly where you want to go with it, it gives you a reason to go back and farm that place to
yeah,
get.
yeah. Because you might find you might find a sword that you probably like.
Yeah,
And you just want to get
exactly.
it
You
for the
just want
best.
it to maybe have a bit more attack speed.
Yeah,
You may gain blinks with artifacts or speed buffs. So again, we go back to the thing of all the characters had that base movement, but certain artifacts will be able to give you a short teleport or give you buffs. So
I was going to say, what is a blink, and is
yeah,
that
so a
what
blink
I
is
thought it was? Yeah,
typically I'm here and I can teleport
that's cool.
there, which could work in a new, PvP. That's
Oh, there we go. It clarifies exactly what we were just talking about there. Artifacts drops with random characteristics. In order to get the artifact with the desired characteristics, you'll need to farm them,
exactly
like we said. There we
happy
go.
days.
Nice.
Right, it gives
Confirmed.
longevity to the game. It gives you again a purpose to go out and do.
Nice.
Yep. We'll have a chance to get a legendary item from each path, but it won't be easy. Now, if
Yeah.
it takes 100 hours just to get to 40, I
Yeah.
imagine maybe crafting or finding a legendary artifact.
It sounds like they are going to be really hard because there's a lot of emphasis on how
Well,
hard they are
should
going
we
to be. Because
read the
2 lines down it says it.
next
Oh yeah,
quote?
go on. Hey, go on.
There will be legendary weapons and artifacts, some of which only less than a dozen of players will be able to.
I want one. I want one.
So, when there are thousands of players, you could be one of the 12 or less, because it says less than a dozen.
Or less, yeah.
You could be one of 10 people with that.
I'm telling you now, Mike, that will not be me.
That is not the answer.
No, it will. I'll put in the grind.
Again, those are the things where that excited me when we first talked about it. I love the fact that I won't be able to get something. Like, a lot of games give everyone everything. That is pros and cons to that, and that's probably a podcast episode itself. But I love the idea that there's someone out there who may be the only person who has that, and when you see him, you'll think,
That's class.
That's so cool. Yeah. I'm all about that. I like how there'll be no limits. So there won't just be, well, you've had a legendary, so that's the one you've got. Technically,
cool, yeah.
Technically, you could have a weapon and a couple of artifacts out.
That's class.
It's going to be insanely rare, but it's possible. I like that they don't rule anything. Don't go.
No, yeah, we're not giving you that.
Obviously, they have fixed stats, which makes sense because you can't really farm them if they're going to.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
So the majority of the game's best items will not be transferable. They will be bound to the hero when crafted or which is done. So some items will be bound on pickup, some will be bound. Best crafted items will require players to bind on pickup. Yeah, so those, it seems to me, best stuff, you have to put the work in. You can buy the stuff a bit below because they aren't. But if you want the top, put the work in.
Yeah, I think have they talked about how the game is going to be sort of monetized or anything like that? Is it sort of so? It's a battle pass. I think it does say. Yeah, I have heard. Well, it's going to be like a battle pass, and you'll pay monthly as well. You know, it'll be pay to play or whatever. Yeah. Is there like a game thing on this? Has he got that there? Maybe, I'm sorry to be jumping around. It was just
if there isn't, we can certainly maybe delve into it in another episode. But I do know, like you say, I think there is going to be an element of seasons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cosmetics.
Yeah, we can run through this.
Yeah, this one's quite a simple one. It's all cosmetic. Some are universal. That's cool. So it's not class based.
Nice.
Others are then class or a group of classes. And otherwise, looking at the trailer shows that unequipped cosmetics do take up inventory. That basically means if you're not going to wear them, put them in your bank.
Yeah.
There are no plans to divide cosmetic rarities. We believe the mere difficulty of obtaining them to be an indicator of their value. Again, you see that guy with a legendary sword, I think.
Yeah.
That guy got a legendary.
That's exactly what you think.
Yeah, when you think a thing, you think it. So we'll have capes, but no dedicated slot for them. Basically, some cosmetics will have built-in backpacks or capes.
Right, yeah.
So there won't be a specific slot, but then that can help make you like if you are dead set on a cape. You got to go.
Yeah.
For example, if you chose the Elenian culture, you'll be able to obtain cosmetics from other cultures. Definitely do not want to limit our players in terms of what cosmetics are available to them. You'll be able to use cosmetics from other cultures regardless of. That's cool.
Nice. That's good.
So that's the skills you won't get. So things that actually in the game. You know, if you want to, maybe you're infiltrating, join the Elenian culture, you're trying to get into culture.
Yeah, so you dress up as one and go sneak around and get some information. I like it.
Visual cosmetics for abilities will be available in Corepunk. That's a cool one to touch upon quick.
Oh, that's well cool. So I could have the same spell as you, but they could look different.
Yeah. So fireball.
That's quality.
Could have a fireball, might be blue.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
And if that is how they're going to monetize, if that's, if you had to pay 50p to have your fireballs bright pink.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
And I definitely, I will sink money into buying pink fireballs.
I wouldn't think
That's
any
it.
less of you
No.
for the same. Yeah, so
Brilliant.
there are unique emotes. So I suspect again they may be ones you earn for doing certain things, or maybe you buy them in the shop.
Yeah.
Cool things like that.
Have its own slot, head, shoulders, hands.
Slots then.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are special base skin slots. Now this was another interesting. Change the fundamental look of the character. For example, you could transform a human dead. So you're
Oh, that's cool.
so you could have like a zombie dwarf, or you could have like maybe an orc has a variation of it.
Or a robot, a robot dwarf, or
yeah, yes, like a cyber. That's a yeah, and the fact that they're
yeah,
going to
that's
have
cool.
them, and some of them, as it says here, and as you know, some of them are going to be well hard-earned skins.
Yeah, and some of them will be season dropped. I'm guessing, like you said, zombies. That'll be at Halloween.
Yeah,
and...
like that might be that battle pass.
yeah,
So that's pretty cool. You'll be able to get recolors of weapons and skins for doing in-game activities. Pretty cool. So you may get a weapon drop from a dungeon, but if you do it on a harder difficulty, you'll be able to read or green.
Yeah.
And you can also craft them, so that's cool. That's a cool thing if they're craftable and not bind on pickup. Maybe you could sell the look of a coat.
That's cool. That's exciting, all that stuff there. I'm, cosmetic Carl. I like all my cosmetic stuff.
I wondered how far into a podcast series was before we get there, and it's episode 2.
It's all about the look of my character, I tell you. When the character's looking good, I'm feeling good. There we go.
That's it. And Corepunk lets you play it that way. That's what I love.
That's
it. Crowd control, this quite a simple one. So basically talking about what your effects will be. So you've got your stun, your sleep, your fear, charm, taunt, disarm, silence, blindness, and mobilization. Obviously, certain skills can inflict these. Enhancements will likely be able to do it. If you have a certain, maybe you blow up a barrel that has poison in it, it may disarm you or blind you. Like those kind of things.
right, yeah.
And yeah, these basically go into very quick. So an interesting point which I'll point out here is there's diminishing returns on crowd control. Now,
yeah, what does that mean?
what does that mean? Well, so crowd control is basically inflicting a thing that controls that character. So, for example, if we use blindness, so a character, a raid boss, or a player may be charging up a big attack, and you can control that negate that essentially by maybe throwing a smoke bomb. It blinds them. So your skill may initially blind them for 1 second, but if you hit him again, it won't do it for another second. It might only be half a second. So
you can't spam it.
So you can't spam it. So then they're just constantly blind or constantly disarmed or constantly asleep. So like there is a diminishing return is basically So it might be a second the first time, but if you do it within 30 seconds, that's pretty cool. Artifacts will have skills to remove. So if you are maybe put to sleep, Granddad's alarm clock might wake you up.
There we go.
Yeah, and this is an interesting thing. When disarmed, it will be impossible to auto attack or use skills associated with weapons. So your base attack when you're disarmed is you don't have that weapon.
Right,
and I
so
like that. That's quite cool. That could be very critical in a lot. Crowd control, that's nice. And is obviously going into a bit more of the open world. Want a good striker PvP and however, the further you go out from heavy traffic areas, the lower your risk of being engaged in random PvP. Basically, what this goes into is how they're going to strike the balance between the world being useful, because it's a massive world, but like how they're going to balance those areas that aren't heavy traffic and going to
Yeah, the outskirts.
And it answers a
What does that?
question here,
Go on.
what we were talking about before.
Oh yeah, the wards. There we go.
So you can use wards that'll lift fog of war for you and your allies in the area placed.
That's cool.
You can put, like
Put a
say
ward
it's a
down.
torch, and then we can keep that area. Whilst
Yeah.
maybe there's a mob here, and we want to make sure no one's coming here, so we put a wall, get an early.
Yeah, maybe you're doing some mining or something.
Yeah.
What is corpse running?
Corpse run. So when you die, basically, they have said that there'll be skills for certain resurrect people. But say if you're solo, don't have any things, what you will then do is you release your spirit from the body. Your body will stay where you died. You may go to the closest graveyard and you have to corpse run. You run as a ghost back to your body. Ta-da!
Right. Cool.
Nice and simple. A returner's item that will behave like a hearthstone, so that's pretty cool. You link it to a tavern or you link it to a bank.
Yeah, to your house or
you
something
run
like
out,
that.
go and gather your wood. You don't want to run back because you might get ganked. Use your returner's thing.
All right. So there isn't sort of, because we talked about teleporting around the map or fast travel, should we say, on the last episode. So you can't fast travel everywhere basically, but you can use it to get back. Like the Sheikah Slated, what is it in Zelda? You can place that in the DLC. You can place it at your house or place it wherever you want.
Yeah, and then it will return you back to But you have to change that every time. Yeah, you can't just go. Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, you need to go pick it up and then move it. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And there are buff totems, interactable. Give your whole party a buff. That might just be like a stone that you pray at, and it will give you all.
Yeah. Whatever. I think they actually do that in the alpha trailer. I think we see it.
Vision in the open world is shared between allies, and that's interesting. That's good. So if we do split off ever so slightly, if I pan over to you, they'll see what's in your
surrounding
vision. Default is size 4. That's pretty. We knew that, but that's good to know that is the default, but not limited to, because I do know in the P, I think you get up to 12 aside, and raids and dungeons. They don't. Any party considered more than 4 is considered a raid. We do not know the max limit yet. I'm sure we'll get look. If you're on the high ground, you can see players on the low ground, but they can't see.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think there is a bit in one of the trailers that shows the guys at the top, and they see the guys fighting, but they can't see them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Direct quote: "There'll be no flying mounts, as well as no teleportation between locations. There'll be public transport available for traveling."
Look at that! There we go.
Cool. And the means of transportation will be mounts, which we touched on. That'll be, and again, maybe you'll be able to get a specific mount in a battle pass season. That's only available for that. Or taxis and circulating transports like trains. You can get run over by a public transport train.
Right, there we go. Be careful.
It's a question we didn't ask, but one we needed to. The world is big enough to get lost in. They've already said how big this will be, which is just fantastic. That's exciting. Will I drown in the ocean if I don't use the life jacket in the quest in the trailer? No, you can freely swim anywhere, which is good because if we end up on the raft...
Yeah. There we go. Are we on? I think we're already on the raft.
We're on the raft. There are areas where a bad jump can end up killing you.
Nice.
There are areas you can knock people and monsters off into lava.
Nice. There we go. You can use
imagine
that as a nice
that
little fighting strategy, can't you?
You're like the pushing them back, and you're like, no, and then you just.
It's like Star Wars. Yeah. I have the high ground. That's it.
Robot arm. Then maybe that's how you unlock a unique body skin.
The robot arm, yeah.
You have to get burnt in lava.
The Anakin skin.
Anna skin. That's terrible. Anyway, moving on. The map will open over time. You won't be able to share it, which is... I expected that. It's your character; they know what's there. And I like the idea that if I could see it on my map, and I'm like, "Hey, Carl, there's a really cool resource area here," I can see it, but I'd need to bring you to be able to see it. Again, is that interaction of using players. Weather changing. There will be rain, wind, fog, sandstorm in deserts. Don't have tornadoes though. We can even have the ability to add snow to any location. We thought about making seasons, but there's no yet. So technically we can. And night, the mob spawn rate.
Oh, cool. So it's a bit scarier to be out at night time.
Potentially.
Get indoors.
Yeah, or maybe only certain things appear at the day and certain. That's
cool.
Be another thing. Whilst you can jump, it doesn't act as a dodge.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's not.
Duck out the way.
Get out of the way. Yeah.
I think about the. We'll come up to it.
The world is really big. I wouldn't want to draw comparisons with other worlds, but I can say it will indeed be massive.
Yeah.
Class.
Huge. But they were saying like there is no load screens. The only time it loads is if you go into a dungeon.
Nuts that. I wonder how taxing it will be on people's machines. I guess in the fog of war.
I think the fog of war is what saves it because you'll only ever have that on your screen at any time.
Yeah, I think it'll.
Whilst a great game mechanic, actually graphically probably also quite clever. Do we know? We know what the four cultures will be. Will they be enemies basically? The cultures are not at war, but the smaller factions can be. You can join them and their foes along your quest lines and pick for yourself whom to help. Whilst they're not that classic Horde alliance in WoW and various, then they're not actually at war. They probably dislike each
other. Yeah, nice.
And then
next one.
Yeah, world will be really big. Lots to it. Open world PvP. Are there going to be elite mobs and locations with random goodies? You'll be able to encounter a lot of unpredictable things at the location, include elite mobs special. So you may go and know a particular campsite that you farm, but occasionally there may be an elite mob there that has that rare drop.
Nice.
Cool. It just gives you incentive to keep going back. You never know.
Oh, that's cool. That there will be dungeons with fixed entrances and dungeons with entrances that spawn randomly. So you'll know a place for some dungeons, but some dungeons you could just come across organically.
Yeah.
Which is class.
Yeah, and they may not only be there for the day.
Yeah.
You know, like you could go in the swamp.
Be there for 15 minutes.
And you just go, oh, there's. And anyone who happens to be there at that time gets access to it. And then you go back tomorrow. Hey, I go, Carl, come and look at this. Isn't it really cool? And you're like, there's no mate. I swear there was.
You're lying to me.
Yeah, so there are wandering mobs, which is another thing. Linking back to that kind of hitman bounty sheriff thing. There could be a mob that you need to kill, but they could be anywhere within
certain radius.
That radius.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there will be a main quest line, but there will be others. So non-linearity. So it's not you're not going to be railroaded in. You need to do this quest and that quest. Whilst there is a story, there'll be plenty of what to do. What's for map exploration? There might be, but at bare minimum, you find great hidden farming spots. So whilst they're not going, there might be a title if you find the whole map. The reward in itself is that you find that cool little spot. PvE includes dungeons, both for solo mode and groups of 4 people, randomly generated dungeons, raids, mini-bosses, world bosses, wandering bosses, and a camp system with an advanced open world AI that will keep challenging players, or will challenge players. Most importantly, we're focused on the experience of exploring a highly elaborate, detailed world. So
Yeah,
all
that's
these
class.
things are good. There's no bad thing.
Speaking to my heart.
Yeah. Mini bosses, big raids, world bosses. I love the idea that there'll be an infernal demon rampage in a city and everyone has to take arms, flash it down.
Save the city.
Save the city. Instance PvE. So here's where we start getting into the numbers. There will be raids. Raids will be between 12 and 20.
Yeah, leaderboards.
Yeah, fastest.
How many clears and fastest.
Yeah. So this is basically saying raids and done. It'll be a big part of endgame content. So obviously that's part of your 60%. It will have difficulty for dungeons, but they're not sure about raids. Dungeons like a heroic mode. Raids may. We are planning to have raid, party, and solo content. Only a few players will be able to.
Oh, that's cool. So it'll be sort of like time-based raids and stuff.
Or maybe they're just that difficult. You need the perfect run.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where those legendary.
Yeah. What does ganked mean? You can be ganked when leaving a dungeon.
Where are you?
You go further down, sorry. Keep going, keep going.
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going.
You can be ganked. So this is. Ganking is a term for players killing you. So you're just. You've killed that boss,
right.
you're coming out, and there might just be someone waiting at the exit because they know someone's going to come out and they'll kill you, basically.
But they'll only be able to do that if you've got PvP turned on.
Yeah, and they have given you the option, but I think you are then also only limiting what you can if you turn it off.
Right.
So I think there will be benefit to it, but then
having it on.
There's a lot of fun that could come out of that as well.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Powerful items in so there are several loot systems for those of you who have never played an MMO or the need greed is basically you can choose to need roll it or greed roll. So if you need it, your class will be, for example, say it was a minigun. Your class could need that, and then whoever needs it, they'll all roll a number between 1 and 100, randomly generated. Whoever gets the highest gets it. However, if you all greed it because you don't need it, but you want it to sell on, that's a separate roll. But the good thing with need greed is if only one person needs it and everyone else, the need person will get it first because they actually need it. So the greed only comes in when asked. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
The master loot system is whoever's the party leader or the raid leader takes all the loot and then at the end divvies it out. So you usually see this more in guilds. So they'll do a guild dungeon and then they'll go, okay, the healer needs that, the tank could use that. And then free for all. Basically.
That's it.
You pick it up, it's yours. Very rarely used. Oh, well. You never know. We like to keep it spicy. Raid content is inspired by classic WoW a lot. It won't be easy.
Nice.
Good. Because things like dungeons and that will be easy, but they're still keeping that bigger content that harder. And I like that. That'll be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting some people in the community and hopefully creating some raid parties and stuff like that. I've never really been part of this sort of community of guilds and stuff. I've never done anything like that. So hopefully.
And from what I've seen of the forums, what I've seen of the people who are interested, there seems to be a nice. The community seems nice. There's no particular person I've come across where I've gone, hey, da 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 da, or gatekeeper-ish or anything. Everyone seems to be nice. Everyone is just hungry to play it, and they like talking about what they would. Oh, what does this avatar and this screenshot mean? I love that kind of thing, and building those communities, and hopefully we'll be able to build maybe a community. We've got people who can join us on our adventure. It would be really cool.
That's nice. That next one. Some bosses will have several impact points. So that's like you attacking different parts of the body, the armor, and stuff like that, getting them down. Which
Yeah.
is it's better than just point and click.
Yeah, and
Point and click at the
that'll
big
imply
body.
that there'll be different mechanics as well. So, like, you might, if it's a robot, maybe you do need to take its legs out first, and then it's not mobile and stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Armor system. This is the thing where we won't
PvP,
go into.
Isn't it?
It's basically depending on what color they are. Depends on their how many people they've killed. Maybe so red is an enemy. Pound points are not given for attacking and killing players, but obviously that's.
All right. So if what red is. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like yellow is a neutral
that's
player.
PvE, isn't it? Yeah.
Armor system depends on the difference in levels between players. In order to become a criminal, you will need to kill about 100 players of your level. However, if there's a difference of 3 or more for killing such a player, you will automatically become a criminal.
All right. So if you start going around killing newer players, you're gonna
so the
hit that on that
term
wanted list
pick
instantly.
on your own size is appropriate here.
Yeah, that's it.
If someone's your own size and you're killing 100 of them, fair enough. If, like I say, you're going up and you're just going to the starter areas, just hitting and like ganking the lower level people at their first dungeon. You're a bad guy.
Yeah.
There's going to be a sheriff on you, and there's going to be a hitman on you.
And that's it.
Suddenly, your job it becomes a lot harder, which is cool. And Karma, this is the thing. It's the one who attacks first. So, and the fact that the game can define that helps a lot. So you're not going to accidentally get it. I didn't mean to do that.
I did, yeah. I guess we don't need to touch in on this too much. If you are interested in the karma system and more, you can get in there and have a look at the post yourselves.
If a killed character drops an item, you can pick it up, only if it isn't soulbound. That's that. And then I think we pretty much go into PvP, which there's not a load of details at the moment. It's basically saying there's going to be an honor system. So like when you win a match, you gain a certain currency. It's not scaled, so it's based on what your gear is. They don't level you out, so you're on a playing field. If you've got good gear, you've got good gear. Time to kill on a 1v1 fight is lower than WoW and League, longer than League. So, because WoW Arena play for minutes. League of Legends, jump on them and kill them within 5 seconds. So if you're looking at a minute-long fight on a one-on-one, a pretty good balance. Open world areas with a greater risk of losing items through PvP are planned to exist. So think RuneScape wilderness mechanic. So the further you go in, the richer the better, but a lot more risk reward, basically, what it says. Towns and starting locations are safe. You can duel people. That's cool. They're quite a big community themselves. And then the arenas. Got 1v1, 2v3. Battlegrounds, which
12v12.
Stuff deathmatch. Ranked, unranked, so that's nice. You can join instance PvP cities. You don't have to travel to the place where they are.
That's cool.
Several mechanics: capture the flag, control the point, deathmatch.
All the stuff you'd think.
Yeah, just typical PvP. We'll be honest, it's a bit I will explore, but I'm more PvP player.
Yeah, I'm a PvE player. Yeah.
And then guilds, another thing they've confirmed. It's quite interesting, actually. No plans to limit smaller guilds in terms of available guild content. The reason I feel like they've put this in is in other MMOs, you have to have a certain amount of members to have to access certain things within the guild. The fact that there's not
what is a guild? Just for
So-
someone who doesn't know what a
Yeah,
guild
so
is.
think of it like a clan. Like if you join a Discord, you become a member of a thing. So think of it like
What, like a bigger group than a party, basically.
yeah, but it's something you belong to. So you'll be part
Right.
of a guild. So say if we set up a guild called the Carl and Mike Guild. Now we could invite 50 players into that, and they will walk around the world and they will belong to the Carl and Mike Guild. They're not in our party per se, so we can. It's like it's like you belong to a
Like
team.
a faction,
Yeah.
like one of the factions,
Yeah.
like an extra. Like you're part of you're a Yawners, but you're also
Yeah,
Carl and Mike.
and yeah, so the idea is that it helps you so you can invite like-minded people. Maybe you're heavily focused on raid content, so you want a group of people who are all active raiders.
Yeah,
And you've got that pool to pick from. You've all got things in common. You can share stuff.
yeah. So if you want to do a raid and you're trying to find someone, you can just go to your guild who are all
Yeah,
well
if you've
into raiding
recruited
and
them as
Go
that, you could just be
Right.
like, "Hey, John, or are you available to jump into this dungeon?" So,
cool.
the guild masters won't have any privileges. That's fine, but their name will appear in a special frame. Basically,
Know who's in charge.
yeah, know who's in charge. There will be special cosmetics for guilds only. So, in Guild Wars, they have like all the weapons. You can get special skins for just the weapons that have the guild logo on them. So
that's
you know,
cool.
like the sword, like on the hilt, it might just
Yeah.
have the guild logo and stuff.
Yeah,
Current size limit is planned to be 50. There are currently 10 guild levels. Yeah, so basically,
So yeah, that must be where you get your cosmetic, is
you
it? When you
and you
start
get
building your stuff.
register a new guild as soon as you can. Guild bank guild.
Can you only be part of one guild at a time?
It may answer that later down. Generally, yes, is the rule.
Right.
But you can see here there'll be guild chat, guild bank, and a ranking system. The guild chat. So obviously you've got world chat, you've got party chat, but you could also have the guild chat. So then when you're doing your own thing, you can still socialize with your guildies.
Oh, nice.
The guild bank's obviously good because if you've got a surplus of resources, you can put them in the bank and then
help your team
people out. Yeah, so cool. And the rank system obviously is just obviously you'll have the master, but you could also have officers, or you could separate who's a PvP player, who's to structure it that way. Guilds level up through various in-game activities. Tasks. Members will have special quest which can help upgrade. So that's quite cool. So like you can pick up a specific quest that'll benefit your guild by doing it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's quite cool.
That is cool. But then you could get some reputation for, they've just gone and done this for us.
Yeah, and that's given us a speed buff for an hour, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
like that they're also designed to be as a group, but some of them are individual. When a guild meets all the requirements to reach the next level, the guildmaster can level up the guild by paying a fee. Cool. Guild halls are planned post-launch. This is exciting. So basically, you can have a special, it's a special instance, but it's for your guild, your family, your clan.
Yeah.
You could hang out there, maybe, in guild.
Show off your new armor.
Yeah, show off your new armor. I know in Guild Wars, like the guild halls themselves, is like resource nodes that you can farm every day, or you can implement like a pool so you could go fishing. So there's somewhere to hang out and that.
Nice.
Castle sieges, territory captures are so your guild could overtake a castle and it'll be your castle as a guild. That's pretty cool. Rating system, so see how active and how particular good a guild may be. So it's easy to earn points with large guilds. Many some small active guilds may find it is easy to earn points. Right, so the rewarding activity basically. You don't have to be a big guild.
Right.
But if you've got 10 of you who are going to work your ass off, it can be just as effective as 50.
Yeah. It looks like the last one there, they're saying they're actually planning to get into guild content more after release.
Yeah, it's this.
It looks
Yeah,
like,
they want
so
the
they're not
base of the game.
concentrating on this at the moment.
Yeah, but Guild Wars is always good.
Mm.
Heroes, we've pretty much touched on a lot of this, but we can pull through a lot of things. It's a shame you'll be able to command the wolf and move it to a specific location without attacking anything. Like you were saying before, you can choose. Yeah. There is another mage planned besides Pyromancer, which I know is music to your ears.
Yeah,
so that'd be quite cool. Yeah, so the way a sniper works is you have to press W, which is reload every time. He gets 4, like he gets bullets. You have to reload.
Right, yeah.
That's quite cool. There's 36 specializations for launch. But
it's going to be so strange for me to be using the mouse to move around the WSD for your spells, but I'm sure it'll come to it.
It's surprisingly. I know a lot of people have spoke about this, and I actually saw a little discussion in Discord this morning on the Corepunk Discord, saying like, oh, they really need to implement WASD because a lot of people who've played WoW and stuff probably won't transfer over. But then I saw someone counter arguing that is that it wouldn't work because of how this game is, and also we don't want another WoW. WoW is WoW. Corepunk is Corepunk.
Exactly. Yeah,
breed its own kind of.
Corepunk.
So they've halved the amount of specialization. They're focusing on 18 at them, but that doesn't mean more. And again, harking back to artificial core and developers themselves, they know if something's not realistic, and they're not afraid to go, hey, we wanted to give you this, not realistic, so we're going to make it manageable.
It's good that they're just so open with the community, aren't they? And just it's what we want from all developers these days.
And active as well, like they interact with people. They're not a faceless, hey, why don't you add this? Or hey, blah, 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 blah. And they answer. That's why this post essentially exists, because they've gone, yes, the answer to that question.
Yeah, exactly.
There are plans to add new heroes classes to existing races in the future. Is there going to be shapeshifters or pets? We have a very interesting shapeshifter hero. I'm a fan of them myself. There'll be heroes with pets too.
That's class. I'm interested.
Yeah, stealth isn't going to be so much as a class, but there won't be like permanent stealth. There will be a druid class. I have not seen that before, and I've just seen that now, Carl.
Are you excited, Michael?
I'm sorry.
That's it.
I'm sorry to the orc, and I'm sorry for the future that we're going to have, but that's me.
It's gone. You're a druid. There we are.
Episode even better. So miscellaneous, we'll quickly run through these because I think some of them seem very non-things. They're planning to add expansions. They're not going to be adding community yet. Basically.
Right, yeah. So that's like Steam Workshop and stuff like that, isn't it?
We're not going to be supporting third-party add-ons. So any ones that they do add on will be, I guess, go through a vetting the developers.
I think this will come up in here, but I think it has its own launcher.
Yes, I think it does. Yeah, I believe you're right. They are considering implementing party mounts, which is quite cool. So like maybe a 2-seater motorbike, or
that'd be nice.
For multiple seated things. Unique mounts are considered. Boards.
Chat bubbles. You've seen them in the trailer. They look nice.
Some low chance from raid and dungeons. Again, brilliant.
There's a roadmap after the closed beta, which makes sense. We don't know what we've got at the moment, so how could we know what to look forward to?
Yeah, so the fact that they're going to go, well, we're not just going to leave you in the dark. Again, transparency.
Yeah.
There is a mail system. You can send items and currency by post, but there will also be a fee. That's cool. So you could send it to them in post. Hey, I've given you this. You said you'd buy this thing for 10 gold. You can send it for cash on delivery. That's what COD is. And then for them to pull that item off, it's 10 gold.
Oh, that's class. Yeah, that's cool.
Blocking people, good.
Yeah.
We've got a tool system to catch cheaters. Fantastic.
Right.
We've already touched on
Play
player
housing.
housing. You can trade
Love
with
it.
other players. That's good. Mounts will only help you move faster. There's not going to be,
so
like
they won't be like
a horse that you can charge into battle with.
Yeah. Titles are in the game, so you can be some Michael the chicken catcher.
Yeah.
There you
Carl
go.
the salty fisherman.
There we go. There's a ping system in the game. We've seen it.
Cats are already in the game. Good.
Oh,
Good to
there are
know.
plans to add a colourblind
Hopefully
mode.
dogs as
Nice.
There are plans for water mounts after launch. That would be cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
This is interesting because we've seen that we're going to be on a raft, aren't we? That's where we've decided we're going to put ourselves. But the fact that there'll be content related to being on the water, quite good.
Yeah, so I wonder if there must be islands then.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and there
If you're
must be
having
things
water mounts and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
in
say
between.
maybe a dungeons on a specific
Island
island
somewhere. Yeah.
They'll be built.
I never thought about islands. To be fair, I just always imagined it
just
on
a
this
big
one
landmass.
Yeah, just a big landmass. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially with expansions, that helps. Like there's, like you can just add that without particularly messing with the core game and stuff. So that's quite cool.
Oh, look at that above. Will it be possible to change the view of our character's face to the passive skill icon as it was in the trailer? Because in the alpha gameplay, it was different. We saw the character's face. That's what I've been going on about.
Yeah.
Currently in the process of redesigning the interface. What you saw in the alpha gameplay video is not final. Only the mechanics of the passive skill will be displayed in the lower central portion of the HUD. Character's face will be moved elsewhere.
Yeah.
All right. I quite like the HUD of what it was at the moment. I don't think it needed to change too much, but obviously they think different. So
I think as they implement more tools, it'll make sense if they do need to like that.
Yeah.
As long as I can see the bits I need to see, I'm not too much of a HUD fanatic. If it's vanilla and they've gone, this is how we intended it.
Yeah. I like a resizable HUD. I'll be honest. I do like a resizable HUD.
Yeah,
but I don't
of course. Yeah, because
it'll be done.
And I think they will
Sometimes
because of accessibility. If they're adding colorblind mode, I'd be very surprised if they don't make things so you can have them particularly big. There'll be a built-in damage, heal, and aggro mill, which is so in WoW and stuff you can download DPS monitors to see who's doing the most damage in your party.
Oh right, yeah.
So they're already going to bake that into the game. So that's pretty cool.
You don't need to do it.
You can see who's
nice
up in the charts.
Talent calculator.
So that's basically they'll have a dry version where you can just make up a build without spending it in game. So you can go.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what I want to go towards.
Yeah.
And then usually, with talent calculators is say if you you hit level 40, you go right. I want to restructure, but I don't know what I want to do. Go onto the talent calculator, add it how you want, and so usually, and obviously I'm not saying this will be in this game, but they'll give you like a URL, like an API code. You copy it, and then you add it to the talent thing in game, and it'll just automatically put it in for you, so you don't.
Oh, nice. We'll have to do it again, yeah.
You'll be able to use various skins for UI elements. That's cool, so you can have it looking different. I know that'll please you.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, that's ace. Yeah, I like that. All these little touches just to make it more your own, isn't it?
Yeah. Corepunk will have Easter eggs and secrets.
Ace.
Love that. I love it when there'll be like a video or an article goes up of this.
Someone's found something.
Corepunk's been out for 10 years and someone's just found this thing.
Yeah.
Did you know secretly Mike and Carl are in the game? Like that kind of thing.
Could you imagine just in a corner? Hey, look, if you're watching, let us know.
I'm not saying I'd love it and I'm all about it, but so there we go. Yeah, here we go. This answers a lot of questions we talked about before. We have settled on a buy to play plus cosmetics, so battle pass and game shop. We will not.
So what? So you buy it once, and then you don't have to pay a subscription. Is that what they're saying
buy
there?
to
I guess so.
play.
No buy to play, not
That could be
subscription based.
that could be maybe It sounds like, hey, the game's 30 quid, and then you can support the game essentially by buying the battle passes, in-game shop stuff. I think is what
That's class.
Uh,
That's really good.
We will not sell any boosters. Nothing that can affect your gameplay. Only cosmetic. I love this beyond belief.
Yeah, that is ace.
Perfect.
That's ace.
Because I tell you something.
It's not pay to win.
Not pay to win. It still benefits the people who have put the time in and got that legendary weapon, got that legendary artifact. But
yeah,
I have some disposable income. It's not a lot, but I have some. If there is a skin, there is a battle pass. There is.
Yeah,
I can change how my druid is going to look. That is what I'm playing now, and it costs me a couple of quid.
Why not?
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
That's it.
So we're getting on to the final few bits now. These should be quite simple ones. Controls. There is a keybind for toggling PvP mode, and you're able to rebind it.
Yeah.
So you know, when you don't want to be attacked, click. That's nice and easy.
E-binding's refigurable.
E-binding's good.
Nice.
You can move the camera using the keyboard. So you could have like your directional arrows.
Yeah.
You can unlock the camera, and I saw this asked a few times as well. So in the game, obviously, when it's clicking, it's moving with the character in the center of the screen. But you can have it unclick, so you can use the mouse to move around and then
look
click.
around.
So that's quite cool. Because I know that some people love that, some people don't. I know a lot of gamers like WASD movement, but unfortunately, we're not going to have it in Corepunk because of the combat system. And it, like you say, it'll be interesting. But I like when I have played League and stuff, and that it does. Just a switch. It's not like, oh, this feels really alien and doesn't feel right. It's just like, oh, this is how this game plays.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Photo mode, which is cool. People like photo modes.
Yeah. That's cool where it has the elements. Gamepad that they have said they want to make it a comfortable game. That's quite cool. Sometimes you don't want to be here. Like if I could be like a Xbox controller. Filled out.
That's good for our friends with kids. Sometimes they can't be sat at the PC. They can be
mouse and keyboard. It can be quite.
Get it on the big screen.
So you can use targeted abilities by clicking on the ally or the party frame. So that's quite cool. There's a lot of ads in WoW. So you know if you are a healer, sometimes trying to click in the middle of a 20-person raid is quite difficult. To get the person you want, you can just click their name on the side, and that it's a simple thing but effective. There is attack move.
Cool.
That's it. There's an attack move.
There we go.
There's no shift queuing commands like in StarCraft. That's fine. I wouldn't have expected. So basically, if you hold shift in StarCraft and you press Q and R. It'll do Q then R, so you can stack them up. So it's just saying you can't do that basically. You have to click for every move, or can you simply hold one master move? You can click each time, or you can hold. That's fine.
Cool.
Some abilities. Is it allowed to use more one account per person? No plans of limited places how many accounts they can have, but additional software that will let you control the characters will be prohibited. There's nothing stopping you buying Corepunk twice and logging on and off and playing each one. But multi-boxing is what it's called, basically. You couldn't have them both logged on and then... That's fine.
You can't make a party by yourself, basically, can you?
So these are just some... Again, these seem very basic things, but are important. The fact that they are focusing on different languages and localizations, because it's only going to increase the player base.
Inclusive.
There's
5 to 10 languages. We'll have Spanish language for sure.
And the fact that they're going to include the voice acting as well.
Yeah.
They're not just going to go, oh well, you can hear it in English and here's the Spanish subtitles. Actually,
Yeah,
focusing.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a great
good.
choice.
French and Russian.
So it's going to be staged, but
Yeah.
they'll eventually get there.
They'll have it for release.
Yeah.
So multiple servers. There's also
It'll be local.
Brazilian server.
Adding Korea servers. Cool. How many people will this support? The goal is to have thousands of players on one server. Of course, they don't know that until the closed beta test, so that's absolutely fine. I didn't expect anything less.
The current build is 15 gig. That's small.
Yeah. But,
which is great. I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm all for that.
This is
less space.
This is the thing. The fog of war, the choice of angle being isometric, allows them to make so much more because they're not just focused on making sure it runs every time a character tries to look around and see what's in the background. Or
that one for you there, Mike. We're optimizing the game for old rigs. Baseline for now is a 970 GTX.
No. I will. Yeah. I don't need.
So that should. So it'll be optimized for that, and then from there on. But so that's not minimum, is it? Or is minimum the 970? Is the baseline?
Baseline would be
minimum,
like recommended. Baseline should be recommended, shouldn't it?
Is it?
Maybe. I don't know.
So, yeah.
I don't make it. But
and they haven't done optimization yet either.
Yeah. So obviously that could change. Unity, I know they've mentioned about their kind of relationship with Unity, the engine stuff. Seems like they've got a good partnership going, which is only a good thing because obviously if they need to implement something or need help or kind of work out how to get stuff into the game, got someone on hand to help them. That's only a positive as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they were talking there about that deal with Unity and how Apex managed it with millions of players at launch. And that's what they're wanting.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what that's saying.
Yeah, and that's it. We've seen so many games launch recently where they've launched in a poor state and no one's talking about them. And the fact that they're aware that they want the focus is they know that that's important. Yeah, there you go. Game will come out of its own launcher.
No plans for Steam.
Nope.
Oh, look at that. 4K will be available and RTX support is planned. So there'll be ray tracing.
Where's this?
Bottom, sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
That's class. That's going to look very nice. 21:9 monitors will be supported, but they won't provide any vision advantage. The extra stream you will see will be covered with the fog of war. That's good. For me, I've got an ultra wide. You've got an ultra wide.
It'd be very weird if you had an advantage.
Black box.
Yeah, but the fact that they've addressed it to me.
Yeah.
The fact that they've addressed it shows that they have thought about what they're doing. They've not done a thing and people have gone, oh, well, the people on widescreen can see everything more than me. They've already thought of that before we're even into the closed beta test.
Yeah.
And that's that.
It, is it?
But, like I said at the top of the episode, there is a lot more in there we didn't cover. And shout out to Illumio.
Yeah, unbelievable that we won't be able to do this episode without him.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So big shout out to you, my friend. Like I say, go follow that out. Go and join the Discord. Go and join the forums. Join our Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you have enjoyed it, please give us a like on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. Like Mike said, we've got a Discord. We've also got a Patreon. Yeah, there'll be links everywhere anyway.
Yeah.
It's been a long one, this, Mike. It was fun, though.
But there's a lot to cover. We didn't cover all of it.
There's a lot to cover. Yeah.
That's only a positive.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Why not? But yeah, until next time, I guess.
See you later.
Cheers for watching.